Hello and welcome to another Business Fix series of GGA Management Consultants. So we are here again to discuss one more problem and we are going to provide a solution for the same. So let's just start. So we have a problem, okay? And as usual, the problem is there with Mr. J. Let's see what problem he had. So he's saying our suppliers are complaining regularly that their payments are getting delayed despite the fact that we have robust payment integration, even utilizes invoices, even utilities invoices are not getting paid on time. Okay. So he's saying that he's having set up a robust and automated payment mechanism, but still his suppliers are complaining that they are not getting their payment on time, which is normally measured through POT percentage. So let's just quickly have a look that what this problem when decoded, what it turned out to be. So problem debrief. Okay. So delay in invoice getting interface into the ERP post receipt of the invoice overdue on arrival. Okay. So which means that invoices has been received, but it has been delayed and getting interface to the invoice that's taking time. And then there are some invoices which are overdue on arrival, which means that the payment date has already been passed due. For example, typically in a scenario wherein the payment term is immediate, and if we receive the invoice 2 3 days, so let's say the payment term is 15 or 30 days, and we receive the invoice post that, so which means that these are normally called as dead on arrival, or we are saying overdue on arrival. Okay, this is the cause. So which means that obviously those suppliers are going to chase us for the payment that they are not getting the payment on time, but this is the real cause. Okay. System and data issues. Failed payment batches are not reviewed timely. Okay. So which means that integration is there, but after integration, if some batches are getting failed, it has not been taken into account, and because of which the payments are getting delayed. Several suppliers' invoices are on various holds, which appears as overdue suddenly when gets failed. Okay. So which means there are hold for many reasons, and those reasons has not been resolved through proper interaction with the supplier, and because of which when those validate the invoices are getting validated post removal of the hold, they soon become overdue because the time taken to release the hold has been a bit longer, and the payment due test has already been arrived. Okay. Supplier invoice approval taking 7 days on an average for the final approval, which means that approval mechanism is not not there, or if it is there, it is manual, which is taking too long to approve a payment invoice, and then a delay in adjustment of invoice versus debit memo issues to the suppliers. Okay, so which means that though he is very much confident that his systems are integrated, his mechanism is such that he can make the payment without any human touch, or let's say he has done the best of his automation, still the payment on time is not happening, and the underlying these are these. So which means that he is right because he has implemented his technology, but the vendors are not happy, and these needs to be diagnosed at these issues. Let's just quickly decode these issues and figure out what are the details which lies underneath these high level issues. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, so let's just quickly have the details of those issues then. Delay in invoice getting interfaced into the ERP and post-receipt invoice overdue on arrival. Okay, invoice are not interfaced on timely basis to the ERP, specifically for the paper invoice. So typically, what's happening that if invoice is not being interfaced to the ERP, that is not available for the validation, then definitely payments are going to get delayed. That is largely for the paper invoices, but otherwise also I think the delay has been observed in the normal normal invoices as well, which is getting not getting interface, or if it interface, that those are getting stuck somewhere in within the technical landscape. Overdue invoices are received in the invoice workbench, which is itself a challenge. On-time payment rate doesn't get impacted for the number of invoices which are out of the system. Okay, so which means there are invoices which has not been punched into the system, and our POT is normally calculated on the basis of the invoice date or invoice receipt date, and because that invoice receipt or invoice date is typically needs to be made available in the system, then only we could able to act on it. But if they're not available in the system, these are the challenges. So which means that integration is there, but integration only help once that information is available. If information is not available, integration cannot do anything. system and data related issue causing processing delays. So ERP bank integration issue, failed payment batches, interface delays or ignored rejection, unreconciled payment. Payments are processed but not reflected in supplier bank account due to the bank. This is typical error, which means that we assume that we have done the payment, but it is getting stuck at the bank side or anywhere, and supplier is not getting that payment. Invoice correction. Several incidents of invoice correction due to mismatch in quantity and rate, which actually delay the validation of the invoice, and that invoices actually goes on the hold, because of which these kind of issues then come. Invoices are on various hold, which appears to be an overdue suddenly when gets validated. So objections raised by the approvers are not resolved timely as per the supplier and unapproved in the system for more than 5 to 6 days. Supplier internal workflow delay in the invoice submission. So this is the error at supplier end, which needs to intimate to them that they also need to work upon their side so that they can get the payment on time. And then we have the credit terms not aligned with the actual delivery acceptance timeline. So these are technically the issues which can be resolved with the process adherence and creating the stringent process, and we can then able to resolve these issues which is directly going to impact the timelines in which payments are being made, and definitely my improvement in the POT would happen. Alignment with supplier. Supplier invoices not matching with the PO and GRN gets hold in the system for several days. Incomplete supporting document, LR, POD. So all these documents are typically the reason for because invoices are put on hold. Incorrect details like GST error, all these errors. So typically, if we really look at the cause of the concern here, so cause of the concern are on the two side. First, definitely the behavioral issue from the from the Mr. J's team side, because they are not interfacing the invoices on the time. Second is the challenges in terms of supplier who are not providing the right type of information, because of which invoices are getting on hold. And third definitely is the technological issue wherein invoices are interfaced, payments are made, but it got stuck in the system, and because of which those technical issues, those technical glitches, payments are getting delayed. And typically a scenario wherein payment has been interfaced and it has been released from our side, let's say Mr. J account side, but it has not hit the supplier side. It got stuck in the bank interface and nobody is looking into it, because we assume that because our account has been debited, payment has been made, and we are sitting relaxed. But typically a system is there wherein we could able to ensure that once payment actually hit the supplier end, we get a notification, and then only we can secure off that payment in our ERP. So that alert is missing, and we should make sure that that alert should be working very fine if you want to implement the accurate POT system. And then last one is operational challenges. Suppliers debit memo not adjusted against the open invoices. On account payments are booked, and there's a time lag between the offsetting of that online payment with the final payment run, and some GST, HSN tax which may rate due to the correction of the PO before before invoices needs to be booked. So a typical statement that vendors are escalating because of their payment has turned out to be so many problems here. So if you look at it, we have the 5 header level problems, and each of the header level is having 3 subpoints. So 15 problems because of one issue. This is the beauty at which we at the GJ Management Consultants we operate. So which means that we are not giving an high level answer that please do this, please do that, so that you can make your payment on time. We diagnose each and every aspect, and we come up with we look at the entire value chain of the process and figure out the impact of this particular decision or this particular problem, because the root cause of this particular problem, why it got generated. And then once we identify all the concerns, we create an implementation plan so that we could able to done away with all these issues. It may so happen that the quantification, we will try to quantify all these issues, it would have a different percentage. Some of the issues would be having the 50% in the total issues contribution, and let's say one issue is only 1% in the total 100% challenges. But for us, even 1%, if it is hampering my key KPI of the payment, which is the payment on time, we should address that. Right? Implementation plan, technology implementation will have its own time plan, but we have to make sure that we have all those issues being brought on the table, and we could create the proper implementation plan to remove all those issues. So let's just move to the next slide and see what high level solution Mr. G is proposing. Okay, so Mr. G is here and he has a solution to the problem. So what he's saying, strengthen invoice processing lifecycle. Okay, which is a motherhood statement. We'll have details in the next slide. Standardize and automate invoice approval. Okay, improve payment execution accuracy, enhance supplier master data governance, streamline communication with the supplier, introduce supplier experience dashboard, and long-term enhancement, which is automation. So he has come up with 7 improvements that needs to be done, and we look at each of these 7 improvement in detail. So that and again, if you look at the way it has been, improvement has been underlined. So again, it's a mix of the way communication needs to be addressed with the supplier, the changes that we need to make at our process side, the long-term automation enhancement. That so typically a solution which is provided by GJ Management Consultant team is having an element of all three ingredients for a particular process. So which means process itself, process steps, I would say, or the practice, I would say, and then the technology, and then the human. Because at the end of the day, it is a synergy between the practice, humans, and the technology, which can make a process right. And then we'll see that how all these high level solutions is going to have a detail in the next slide. Okay, so let's just quickly have a detailed solution which Mr. G proposed. Strengthen the invoice processing lifecycle. And what does he mean? Define clear SLA. Okay, he's saying that you need to have a clear SLA for the invoice receipts, which means that validation, GRN matching. Okay, absolutely right. If we have a defined and clear SLA, then definitely we know the timeline within which all these steps needs to be completed. And again, it's an element of automation here. Digitize the invoice submission using the designated email ID to ingest the invoice automatically into ERP, leveraging OCR AI based. So which means that again, if you look at the way solution has been provided, a simple solution having 3 attributes to it. We have to implement some process changes by improving the SLA. We have to make some steps which is through automated way, either through OCR ingestion, or we have to introduce the AI based scanning or AI based ingestion for that particular scenarios. Exception queues automation with alerts for the tax mix match. Again, system based alert. So this is how we normally provide the solution. We look at the problem, we provide the solution, and within a single solution we provide the combination of the process fix and the automation fix. Improve the payment execution accuracy, a real-time ERP bank integration, automatic detection of the payment failure, reprocessing the queue for rejected payment with the escalation workflow, scheduling alignment to ensure the payment workflow supply. So which means again a combination of the various technology and process changes that are going to impact the payment itself. So this is another second step of the solution. Third is standardize and automate the invoice approval. Clear role responsibility in SLA matrix. Again, a process change. Reminder notification alerts and leverage the mobile workflow. No auto approval for the recurring. Again, automation of the approvals. So all this can definitely reduce the cycle time of the invoice processing, and hence it will have the direct impact on my payment on time. Enhance supplier master data, centralized supplier master changes, which is like maker checker control, mandatory validation. Oh my god, this is again something which is required as a part of the mandatory check, and this can also be automated with the various site wherein we can have direct interface with the GST Insign or the site where we have the PAN number. Annual supplier master matter refresh to ensure that the mass email confirmation is there, which is hygiene check that needs to ensure that the master data that we have is the latest and the greatest and the accurate. Introduce supplier experience dashboard efficiency. New dashboard to measure the timeliness and transparency across the P2P cycle. Invoice processing time, approval aging, exception aging. So all the matrices that are required to control the efficacy of the process that needs to be revisited, ensure that they should actually reflect the actual health of the process rather than just using as a metrics in a substance. It has to be in a form only. It has to have a substance in it rather than just in the name of that we are measuring this KPI. It should provide some output that can be consumed to take the decision upon. Streamline the communication with suppliers, strengthen handoff between the purchasing inventory system, self-supplier service, supplier portal, or the email-based automated update. So again, an element of the automation and the process. So all these steps are required to ensure that we are working in the right direction. And if you look at it, the way the solution has been provided, it has been provided. It's a mix of the solution, which includes my process, which includes my people, which includes my technology. And then when you provide the solution, it has its own beauty. right? And when the solution is being provided, it will has an impact wherein we could able to then look at everything. And then last one is long-term enhancement on automation, which is like supplier portal implementation, two-way ERP bank integration, and robust governance mechanism. So mix of technology, mix of process, mix of people changes. When these kind of solutions are provided along with the implementation timeline, this actually remove the problem from its root rather than just erasing it from the top. So this is the beauty at which we do the problem diagnostic and providing the solution. So this is the solution that has been provided by Mr. G. Now let's just quickly have a look whether Mr. J is satisfied or not with this solution. Okay, I think they are shaking hands, so which means that solution proposed is accepted. Okay, thanks, Mr. G. I'm clear on the solution. With this, I know the real cause of the delay, which is that is he has acknowledged that there are some loopholes in the process and some technology information that needs to be improved upon. But again, as usual, Mr. G saying that we understand that, but I think the beauty lies in implementing the same with the help of the experienced consultants at the GJ Management Consultants team. This is the last slide. So we'll just quickly move to the closing slide of this session then. Okay, so this is the last slide. Mr. J is relaxed, Mr. G is satisfied, and we are at the close of this session, to close of this discussion. Then I request all my viewers and subscribers to watch this problem solution series till the end, because any miss, if you miss any other any point within the series, you are actually going to lose the key ingredients which have been captured here in the both the problem side and the solution side, and that is really going to help you to resolve some of the real business challenges. And it's my request to all my viewers and subscribers, if they have some pressing business problem, please reach out to us at the our site, which is www.gjmanagementconsultants.com. In that you can post your query, or you can call me directly, or you can mention your concerns in the comment section, so that we can able to reach out to you with the necessary solution. So with this, this is all that we have for today. We'll come again for another issue and the resolution. So till then, thank you, goodbye, and have a nice day.